Hey everyone, it's Trigger Bar Philosopher. Welcome back out to the channel. Today we've got an exciting episode where we're going to be continuing our look at 380 ACP ammunition with the Bodyguard 2.0. We'll also throw in the Kimber Micro 380 and the Beretta 80X Cheetah. We're going to be taking a look at the Sig Sauer 90 grain V-Crown ammunition. It's elite performance. Let's see how it does in gel and in velocity tests. It should be a great time. Let's get to shooting. Hey everyone, welcome back out to the show. What we're going to be talking about today is we have our Bodyguard 2.0. It's a 380 ACP. We also have our Kimber Micro 380, and we also have a Beretta Cheetah 80X. I have them listed up in terms of barrel lengths, but these two are very close and similar in barrel lengths, but this has a 1 in 10 barrel twist and this has a 1 in 16 barrel twist. We're going to be testing out the Sig Sauer Elite Performance Sig V-Crown. It's a 90 grain projectile with their Sig V-Crown jacketed hollow point. Let's see how it goes today. Let's get to shooting. Okay, we have some of the Sig Sauer Elite Performance. It has a 90 grain jacketed hollow point projectile. It is their Sig V-Crown projectile. Let's see how it does out of this Bodyguard 2.0. My apologies about the gel block being dirty already. Part of the deal of being an unsupported YouTuber. All right, let's go and see how that did. Okay, well, let's take a look. The Sig V-Crown ended over here and got pretty good, in fact, great expansion immediately. And then look, it did some nasty tumbling out past the 8-inch mark. That Sig V-Crown is a definite contender. Look, it got out to 14.5 inches of penetration, almost 16 before it bounced back and landed at 13. So we have a solid 13 inches. That's over the standard of 12. Again, can you compare this block versus organic? That's up to you. We also don't have layers of denim and other things like that. But in terms of comparison of other 380 rounds, which is my purpose of this, it's doing pretty dang good. Why don't we test it out in some other guns? All right, well, we have the Kimber Micro 380. We have the 90 grain Sig Sauer Elite Performance Sig V-Crown. Let's see how it does in the gel. Well, 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 I don't know how well you can see it. Maybe I will get a different angle. But this thin line and all of those thicker lines is our Sig V-Crown out of the Kimber. There it is. That didn't even expand 1 iota. This is basically what you would get when you shoot an FMJ. It did get 13.5 inches, so a little bit more penetration, but dang. Again, these barrel lengths are the same, and when I chronograph these don't have much difference in velocity, but that's angular momentum that's causing that hollow point to expand, do some crazy stuff in the gel. Dang, that's an exciting result. Very cool. Man, I'm more impressed, more and more impressed with this Bodyguard 2.0. If you're on the fence on it, I'm not telling people to go buy stuff. Don't do it because I do it. You know, don't listen to an idiot on the internet. But if you were on the fence for it, wouldn't this push you over it? Okay, well, we have the Beretta 80 Cheetah X, and we're going to test this Sig Sauer Elite Performance V-Crown. It's a 90 grain projectile. Let's see how it does in our gel block. Let's go down and take a look. Okay, well, let's take a look and see what we have in this gel block. This is the round that we shot with the Beretta. We got decent expansion. It comes through here, decent expansion, and ends up at a little past that 13-inch mark. Let's call it 13.25 inches. We can see behind it the Kimber 380 round that didn't expand at all. This got some expansion, and then above it, we got the Smith & Wesson Bodyguard 2.0 that had that fantastic tumbling and expansion from that angular momentum and that high twist rate, relatively speaking, for the 380 ACP. Let's take a look at these bullets. Okay, well, let's take a look at these three projectiles. This is from the Beretta Cheetah 80X. This is from the Bodyguard Smith & Wesson 2.0, and this is from the Kimber Micro 380. These two barrels are almost exactly identical, but the angular momentum in the Beretta Cheetah caused just enough more momentum in it to cause it to expand just a little bit. Now we have the mystery of why this tumbled. We got partial expansion, which I'm sure made it uneven, which caused it to do terrific damage in that gel block. Whether or not that would cause damage in a meat target, you're going to have to make the decision on that. We got great expansion on the Beretta, but we didn't get enough penetration with it. Again, we see when this gets hardly any expansion, it still performed okay in the gel in terms of like it didn't ruin it and you get over penetration. So yeah, what do you guys think? All right, well, let's just take a look and see what these bullets are. This one that was shot out of the Beretta had a diameter of 0.505. This one that was shot out of the Bodyguard 2.0, I have these a little bit out of order, out of the Bodyguard 2.0, had a diameter of 0.475, so a little bit of expansion, just partial expansion. I think the problem was it was just starting to expand, so it just barely hit the threshold of energy needed to cause this bullet to expand. And then the one shot out of the Kimber had basically, no expansion, maybe just a tiny bit, but nothing more than just the original bullet diameter. So again, 0.475, 0.505, and then 0.355. Okay, now we have the Sig Sauer Elite Performance 90 grain projectile. Let's see how it does and performs with our velocity test with this Garmin, with the Bodyguard 2.0. 844. 800. 859. We only have 3 shots because, hey, we're running out of ammo. For our session summary, we had the 3 shots. We had the min of 800, the max of 859. That's a 59 extreme spread, the average of 834. Let's move on to the next. Okay, next up, we have the Kimber Micro 380 with the Sig Sauer Elite Performance 90 grain Sig V Crown. 839. 859. And 806. Again, only 3 rounds. For our session summary, we had a min of 806, an average of 835, and a max of 859. Let's move on to the Beretta. Okay, with our Beretta and the Sig V Crown, let's see how this performs. 891. 939. Again, didn't like it. And 917. For our min, we had 891, our average of 916, and our max of 939. We're seeing some significant velocity increases with that little bit longer barrel. Okay, we're at 5 yards. We have our Bodyguard 2.0, and we have the Sig Elite Performance. I only have like 7 or 8 rounds, so I'm going to do 5 shots in the Bodyguard and 3 in the Kimber. We had a failure to load. Having a lot more failures. I bet it's time to clean the gun, but that is a little bit disappointing with the striker fired gun. So I fired the last one. That blew up my awesome groups that I was shooting. All right, well, we're at 5 yards. We got this Kimber. I think we have 3 rounds of the Sig ammunition. Let's try and shoot it in the upper right corner. Okay, well, I blew one of the pasties off. There were only 3 bullets. I don't think I pulled it. I may have. Who knows? Okay, well, let's wrap things up. Today we take a look at the Sig Sauer Elite Performance V-Crown ammunition for 380 ACP. And we saw some pretty good results in the gel. We saw that the Kimber Micro 380 didn't have enough velocity to get any expansion. And then we saw just a little bit of expansion, although it did some great things in the gel, but that's because it was unsymmetrical and just barely beginning to open up the hollow point. And then we saw pretty good expansion, pretty good results with the Beretta. But in terms of reliability, we didn't see it with the Beretta or the Bodyguard 2.0. Now, your Beretta Cheetah or your Bodyguard may perform just fine with it, but it seems to be I'm having some issues with some of these hollow points. And I think that brings up a couple of points. Is number one, some of this ammunition is meant to be shot out of a longer barrel, and so we're getting inconsistent hollow point expansion. That's really something you need to be testing, and hopefully you got that from this video. I think as for me, this isn't a round that I would trust to carry. Number two is that reliability is really important. Number one thing is that when you get your gun and you think you have a defensive ammunition, go test it out. Even if you hear it from someone on YouTube, you need to test it out for yourself to make sure that it's reliable. We saw that the accuracy was just fine, and I doubt we're going to see much differences from that. But I think the key takeaways, again, are those 2 points in not getting enough expansion and reliability in these guns. A couple of points for our YouTube reviewers as you're watching this video. All of this was done at a closed range. None of these guns have a higher magazine capacity than 12 or 13, and none of the rounds are incendiary. There's no hair triggers or machine guns. We're trying to do all this in a safe manner and following all the compliance rules for YouTube. All right, so with that said, is this a round that works in your Bodyguard? Has it been something that you've been thinking about using in your self-defense carry round for 380? Let me know what you guys think. I hope Sig typically has great ammunition, but I just think it's not great for these types of guns. All right, hope everyone has a great week, and let's get to shooting.